Hey everyone, welcome into Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. Christine Cupo, I'm Lisa Carlin. We may have some other people popping into the show. We'll see. You just have to wait around and see who joins us today. We have a big show planned for you because USL Women's Super League champion Tampa Bay Sun, their GM, Christina Unkel, she's going to join the show. We're talking WSL expansion. We've got a mailbag answering questions. And we also have another interview with Houston midfielder Danielle Colaprico. So that'll happen later in the show. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, Galazzo Network, or listening as a pod, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Join the conversation on YouTube. We cannot do this show without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Christine, good morning, my friend. What's up? How are you?
What up? I'm good. I'm good. I just need you to know, Lisa, that I'm coming out of retirement today to play in a 3v3 tournament. So if you don't hear from me
Whoa.
beyond this point, things went bad.
Congratulations. This is great. Is this for fun? Is there money on the line? What are the stakes?
Probably just like my integrity. I don't know. I'm gonna go play for Juve. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Is this in New York? Can the people
Yeah.
watch or cheer you on?
I mean, you can pull up. We'll be at the grounds at 3:30 today. So, yeah, feel free to come cheer or help me limp off pitch. We'll
W-
see.
This is fantastic. Will this be your first time playing? For those that don't know, Christine Cupo is a legendary New York soccer pickup player all around the city. It is how she made her name in the sport, essentially. And 2 years ago, 2023,
Yep.
you tore your ACL. And have you played?
ACL, MCL, both menisci. Bad
Gosh,
tackle,
you did it
gang. Bad
all.
tackle. It was a noodle leg. No, I haven't played competitively since then.
Are you nervous?
I keep telling myself it's small side, like I know this. This is
Mhm.
easy, but this will be who knows, right? Like you pull up and you're like, my brain wants to do whatever because like I can still cut and dice, but like we'll see what the legs do.
No, you're gonna do great. You've been working out. You're better than ever. Good vibes only. We are cheering you on. This is awesome. Congrats. Golazos only. We want to hear all about it when you're back on the show. Give us the full recap of how the
You got
3v3
it.
tournament goes. I gotta play with you. I want to play with you. That will be
I would
fun.
love to play with you. I'm a little less adverse at this point. I think the scaries are gone, but also
Mm.
like I am a notoriously hard player, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to moderate going into tackles the way I need to at this point.
It is scary. I've had 3 knee surgeries, and coming
Hmm.
back and playing for the first time is always a little bit like, "Ah, how's that tackle gonna go?" And then you do a tackle and you're like, "Oh, I'm not made of glass. I can actually do this and play." So you got this. In the bag. We're cheering for you. Let's go, Cupo. Well, that is like some really good, important back to the pitch news. We also have some transfer news happening that we're going to talk about. The Washington Spirit, they have signed Italian forward Sofia Cantore to a 3-year deal. So that's through 2028 with a team option. Cantore comes from Italy's Juventus, and she is going to be eligible to play starting July 1. That's when the summer transfer window opens. Of course, the NWSL is going on a break, so there'll be some good training time for Sofia Cantore to get into the mix. She's a forward. She's played in Serie A, Christine. But what can Spirit fans expect when they see Cantore play?
Yeah, Cantore she's very good on and off ball. She's got pace on her, so that'll add a little bit of what I imagine they're looking for is not necessarily a Trinity replacement, but somebody that can do some of the similar things that Trinity is gifted with doing. Uh, Known goal scorer. What I'll say is she's a little like me, very right-footed. So I think that she'll have to cultivate a little bit of that ambidexterity. She's never played outside of Italy. She's played for Fiorentina, Sassuolo, um, Fiamma Monza early in her career and got them promoted. So I think that it's going to be more of a cultural acclimation coming to the States for the first time. She's never been anywhere else. I think that her adaptability will be good. I think that she'll add a little bit more flair getting into that final third for Washington Spirit, which I think they could use that little bit of boost. And a lot of versatility. I think that that's probably one of the things that in scouting they were really looking toward is like, how can she fit in this squad? Where could she play?
Mhm.
Um, I think that she has a lot of assets there for them that I'm excited to see what happens, right? This is a big
Yep.
leap for somebody, especially we talk about this even with the men's game, is Serie A Femminile, very insular. So you get a lot of quality Italian players, but they don't really ever make that leap exterior to that. So having one of the first Italians come into NWSL is absolutely phenomenal. Forza.
Mhm. It's a really big deal, frankly, growing the game. I think for Washington, it's going to add a different wrinkle to them. So Cantore will occupy an international roster slot, which, guys, I got to count this up. I got to do the numbers because how does Washington have more slots, international slots to fill? But how Cantore actually fits into the system that, well, soon to be Adrian Gonzalez is going to want to play, because there's a lot of different faces and styles in that front line with Gift Monday, Kouassi getting more and more minutes, Britt Radcliffe, Ashley Hatch, who's out on a little bit of injury right now. But then all of these sophomore players as too, with Morris, Courtney Brown. I'm so intrigued to see how Washington Spirit it levels up in the second part of the season. And we'll see it once the league kicks back. One more game in NWSL this upcoming weekend, and then the summer break. But after a break always comes a rainbow and a sunshine. And we've got probably the biggest sunshine and rainbow that we could ask for back on the show today. She's making her A3 appearance post maternity leave for the first time. Jess McDonald. She's also hanging with us today. Jess,
Hey!
hello.
Hi.
Welcome back from
Ah,
maternity leave. How are you?
thank you. I'm good. I'm tired. I'm very tired, but I'm good. Enjoying every bit though. So it's just great to be back with you guys.
Well, we are so glad you're here. I hope you got a couple extra minutes of sleep. We thought you weren't going to join us, but we're glad you made it today.
I got the time frame totally wrong. This is mom brain and sleep deprivation all in one. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're
I thought it was a
fine.
different time. Yeah.
You have
Anyway.
human beings to take care of and keep alive. It's okay that
You
you
guys,
forgot about
having a newborn and a toddler is not for the weak. I'm just letting the world know that now. It's not for the weak. Let me tell
I
you.
never would have supposed that it is. As someone who is more than happy to be a babysitter, that is not an undertaking that I would like for myself. I'm like, I can hear the little kiddos in the background right now
Uh-huh.
for you. Mama, it's good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is so good to have you back, Jess. And you made it just in time because we are excited to welcome in our first guest on the show today in A3. It is the friend of the network, former FIFA referee, but most importantly, president and GM of the Tampa Bay Sun, the champions of the USL Super League, Christina Unkel. Welcome into A3.
Uncle.
Sup,
Big
Christina?
on.
We can't hear you. Oh, no. This happens, guys. So over the weekend, USL Women's Super League
We
crowned
have to
their
get Christina
inaugural
unmuted.
champions, Tampa Bay Sun. They defeated Fort Lauderdale United 1-0 thanks to Cecilia Flu's goal in the first half of extra time. It was a sold-out crowd at Tampa's home at Riverfront Stadium. This was the sixth straight win at Riverfront Stadium for Tampa Bay. They had the best home record in the league during the regular season. Christina Unkel, are you with us now? Can we hear you?
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
There we
Yeah,
go.
There we
Yes.
go.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you, Jess. Welcome back to the show. I love are we allowed to cuss on the show? Anyways, I
Sure.
love a bad
Whatever you
mother
want.
jam. Who could come out. Like I also love a badass mom coming back. Like that's always
Yes.
awesome. So
You know how it
welcome
is.
back.
Thank
Ayo,
you.
we got to do it. But yes, look at this. Like
Yeah,
this
your
is like
newest child right behind you.
it's my newest child. My daughter, who's 9 years old, Soleil, and now our trophy. So we're gonna definitely name this USL Super Cup trophy for sure. For sure.
Amazing. Has your daughter tried to climb in it? Because that is a huge trophy. It looks like
No, she hasn't tried to climb in it. We did try to put other little kids' babies in it. My daughter's now 9, but I can tell you there's been other, things in this trophy that have been drunk out of. So it's probably not child appropriate at the moment.
That's amazing.
Christina Unkel, congratulations. I mean, this is so cool. Thanks for joining us. You've got the scarf, you've got the trophy, but talk to us about the moment at this final when confetti is falling all around the team. You're lifting the inaugural USL Super League Cup. What is possibly running through your mind during that moment?
You're never going to guess. A boat parade. So, Tampa Bay is known as Tampa Bay, and now we have all of the teams, men, women, champions in Tampa Bay, right? And I am like the worst at appreciating the moment. I fully understand and get that. And so I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is great. I'm so excited for the team that you see on the field. I always say we have a championship team off the field, right? That are putting on the games, that are selling the tickets, that are bringing the fans in, that are engaging. And then the next thing in my mind is like, and a boat parade. So yay, hugs, hugs, hugs. Now let me go call the mayor, right? So yeah, that's really what's going through my mind. I think it's kind of like, and I told the team too back in February, they know like we were always a championship team on paper, right? But then, you know, you guys know, especially Jess, like what does it look like? How does it feel like? How do you activate? You can have all the perfect pieces that you want, but they have to click, they have to move. So it was one of that last pieces of the puzzles that the players finally got together, and then they got momentum in April, undefeated in May. I'm a big believer in momentum. That's how I pick my picks for March Madness. Shout out to CBS Sports on that. And yeah, so they were going in with momentum, felt really confident. Unfortunately, home games, I have to work them, so I don't get to watch the game necessarily. But it's just an exciting moment to see. Well, we all know you work hard. Everyone works hard in the league, by the way. Incredible teams in this league, the capacity, the owners, the investors, the people that are pouring millions of dollars to bring women's professional soccer back in the United States, or continue to grow it, right? Because we haven't had much investment in women's soccer until recently. So it's just a testament, not just to what our team has completed, but what the USL Super League ecosystem has created and the other club owners. So just a moment to be incredibly proud of, and really a pinch me moment, because many of us didn't grow with women's professional soccer as even an option in the country. So good feeling.
Christina, you talk about tireless efforts and hard work, and you are 1,000% team no sleep. Okay, I don't know how you've managed to do everything that you have, but like it's more than commendable at this point. And I know you said, you know, we're champions on paper, but coming into this season, inaugural, right? You don't really know. It's a whole wide new frontier. Were you always certain that you had built something that would be this great, this fast? Or was there a pinch me moment during this season when you said, wow, we're really doing this?
The pinch me moment was in April. So it was, right, and let me say two-part, right? The front of house and what they do and what they execute. We had 3 sellouts this year, right? So we have a little over 5,000 people in our stadium, right? We had to improve this stadium. And it's just, we always say we're here for the community, but our actions are reflecting. We poured $9 million into a local high school that doesn't have a track around it. Key point for many of us who had to play at high school stadiums or referee in those back in the day. We know what those look like, and brought it to a true professional standard. So from the front of house side of it, like we got hit left and right from hurricanes, the sporting side, the visa immigration issues, right? Finally getting our team in on October, and then our hurricanes hit and impacted not just us, but our community. So the Tampa Bay community really needed that uplifting in the fall and didn't have it. And we've done rescheduling of games right on game day. I missed half of the Kentucky Derby, rescheduling an entire game of over 125 staff. Right, we did 10 days knowing we had the semifinal, and then flip around for 4 days to sell out for the final. For me, it's just, I knew it from the front of house side of it, and the sporting really, really picked up in the April-May time period. And it was just this beautiful moment of, my big believer, and the reason I'm here in this capacity instead of a referee capacity is because of pure alignment. And that was a really cool feeling.
That's absolutely amazing. I love that. When you initially started to build this club, were you kind of reaching out to other people, how things kind of operated? What led to, the success of this team when you became general manager and then you had to put pieces of the puzzle together? Because this is the part where the public doesn't see these things when you're trying to put it together. And it's impressive, but it's a lot of work too. So did you have any sidekicks or friends that you reached out to? I want to know. Give me the nitty gritty.
Yeah, nitty gritty is I only knew the people in sport in Tampa Bay. I did not know the business leaders. I did not know really the community area. I'm from Sarasota, so a little hour south. And when I was approached, because I didn't even know the owners, right? Daryl Shaw's our majority owner, David Laxer, Burn Steakhouse, who was the one who brought the Rowdies back, right? They had been dormant for a while, and he brought them back. I reached out to, once again, it's the people that support us, right? The Claire Lessingers, who's part of the sports commission, who's, done Super Bowl events. And like, we've always talked about having women's sports in Tampa. And so that was my close knit group. And I remember calling her and saying, like, is this possible in Tampa? Does the community want this? Because that was my biggest piece. Like, does the community want this? And if the answer is no, and we're forcing something, then there's no point, right? She's like, you have not even met the business leaders, the organizational leaders, those who can champion this cause. This is very, very, very much needed. And you're working with a servant leader of Daryl Shaw, who has a development in the sites here in Ybor City. And we just launched and announced at 10 o'clock our future vision on the future stadium and the renderings with all of that. So today's been very busy. But truly, it's the people that are around you and that surround you, right? Shout out to Lee Cohen, who used to run the Rowdies, and now he's at Charleston Battery. On the hard days, I call him and I said, you told me this was going to be fun. But
this is the fun part, Christina, the trophy behind you. There's the fun.
The trophy behind me is the fun part. We are not throwing the trophy for sure, like the Bucks did, because this thing is heavy as all can be. We've talked about it. The league has told us not to throw the trophy, but we're still tempting it. But yeah, it's just the people that are around you that surround you. It's a weird way where I had the business experience, the legal experience, and the football experience, having been at the highest levels of FIFA and US soccer, and seeing women's professional sport, soccer specifically, for 20 years, to be able to align that all with this opportunity to give back to the community that I love. It was just kind of this pure brilliance moment of alignment, and just good people find good people, good energy find good energy. And now I get to be part, like you guys, of the story of growing women's soccer in the country that we love, for a sport that we love.
So well deserved, Christina. And good people find good people. And you are such a good person. It's no wonder that it really just radiates around you. I want to know from you, because when that all happened and they came to you and said, okay, we want to bring a team here, to now lifting the trophy, the inaugural trophy, having it sitting behind you, what is the biggest thing that you learned in this past year and a half, 2 years of the process that led to this championship game?
Yeah, it truly, right, where people always talked about women's sports in the perspective of charity, as opposed to an economic impact, to a business viability, to the fact that we can generate revenue and be a viable business model. That's something that we all kind of internally knew. We've always championed. We've always said, even when we have the statistics and the numbers, people still want to crawl before they walk, right, from like a financial investment side of it. But I think really and truly, in the Tampa Bay sports area, is very big believers of all the other professional sports teams, the Lightning, the Bucks, the Rays, the Rowdies, even our local college USF. How important that, yes, it's a platform of sports, yes, it's entertainment, but how important it is that we have that relationship with the community, right? This is for the community. Like we always say, our name was by the community. It was named by the community. We had community impact, like sessions. That's how we came to the name Tampa Bay Sun, because the community named it. But it's just always remembering why it is what we're doing and who we're doing it for. So all of the decisions, all of the servant leadership movements, like everything that we instill in the front of house and sporting, is we're here because of the fan. And because we have the power of sport, we have the ability to impact and change the community in so many different positive ways because of the platform we have. And by making decisions that lead in that direction, truly builds the brand, the awareness, and just really kind of the faith that we can do this, and that energy that you need, especially when you're playing. You need that 12th person in the stand. That's what really helped drive it this year.
I know how your brain works, Christina. So what's it already leaping to? What's next? What's the next thing out after the boat parade? Of course, I'll let you celebrate. But I know that the way that you go about things, it's very calculated, very, okay, we've done this. Now we need to move to the next phase. So how do we make Tampa Bay Sun even better going forward? How do we continue to grow women's soccer domestically? How do we amplify USL?
So it cracks me up that you say that, because not only did I say I got to go do a boat parade, we're launching our future vision of the stadium, I was like, all right, we're with CONCACAF Club Cup, right? Like, how do we, because our vision here is truly to be a global leader in women's professional soccer around the world, right? I mean, it's year one, right? We talk about like, can we create a dynasty? What have we done? But it truly is, how do we have the impact, right? We're here impactfully on the region level, on the national level, but really the global level, what really moves the game. So to your point, how do we grow the game how to grow women's soccer in particularly is ensuring that we are setting ourselves up from a business model of success and the stability in the ecosystem. So I tell my players all the time, like, hey, I can either invest another 20K into everyone's salaries, or I can invest 20K into the ecosystem that supports you with a second athletic trainer, right? With the resources that you need from recovery and all of that stuff. So creating that base foundation, and I know we're just in year one, but I'm very like, as you know me, I'm like, what's next? Let's go. It's continuing to create that. And we created a really great foundation that when I focus on the players, because when you focus on a player and you make it, we have two core values, fan-centric and player-centric. The fan-centric side is focusing on how we deliver the community. Now the player-centric side is how do we give that player the ability to be a full professional athlete and take care of all of the professional sporting performance needs from both physical, mental, and spiritual, right? Like, so basically the other third part, however you want to define it. And you create that type of ecosystem. You draw the right people who have that athlete mindset, who want to perform at the highest level, but understand the fabric of it. So for me, by creating that, but now also our team having performed, having believed in, having embraced it, that gives us those opportunities for, right? My phone's blowing up this morning for corporate partnership deals, right? They saw the
Yes.
let's go.
We like that.
Let's go.
I know, I always joke with people, I'm like, it's not a threat, but I will always remember who was with us in the beginning.
The day one.
I say that all the time when I speak in Tampa. They're like, is that a threat? I'm like, depends on how you take it.
Like, no, it's a promise, babes.
Yeah. And like anyone that we do a corporate partnership, right? Like, I will hold fast that you are paying the value of women's sports today, not the value of women's sports 10 years ago, right? So any brand that you see with us, our front chest, like our front, kit provider, TGH, and, any of our other ones, like I know and I can commit that these individuals, these companies, these organizations that are acting with us not just believe, but are actually putting their finances and their activations around it. And so by winning the championship, naturally, it puts us into that conversation of CONCACAF Club World Cup, because my eyes have always been on FIFA club competitions. My eyes have always been on player contracts and movements. My eyes have always been on the Naomi $1 million transfers. Everyone says, oh, women's soccer doesn't do that. Well, yeah, in the past they didn't, but that's not the future. And that's not actually the present now. So building and developing players.
Clip that.
Developing and building players to put them in a position that we all know, to be quite blunt, that the American player is one of the most sought out players around the world. Athletic, they're fast, etc. We're developing the football understanding. So when you start creating this space and this place that young players, as we are now seeing in the NWSL and the USL Super League, right? I think Carolina had a 14-year-old this year, and we have academy contracts that allow players to play under the age of 18 for our league without violating their NCAA eligibility rules, which good luck with whatever NCAA eligibility rules are nowadays with NIL. But it allows academy players to play in the USL Super League to continue to develop their traits and skills and either turn pro if they're ready, or at least get into a college ecosystem. I'm going to use the word Aaliyah Pitts. She played with us. I'm going to get this wrong. Either she's going to Duke or Georgetown. We have a couple of them, right? But she has spent an entire year with a professional athlete. I love her post. She's like, what a way to top my high school graduation, right? With the professional trophy. And that's the future of women's soccer. We've all known it. We've all believed in it. And now we can actually see it and show it.
Love it.
Christina, congratulations. It is so exciting. Go celebrate with your boats and all the things that you're going to do in Tampa Bay. This is so cool. And don't forget us. We've been supporting you guys from day one.
I never have forgotten you guys since day one, pre-day one. It was you guys I picked the brain about. So thank you for always championing. Thank you guys having, like, I talked to you guys and like Jess as well. Thank you for playing football, professional football, when it was not the right decision to your family and your friends and your loved ones, and it didn't make economic sense. We have Erica Timrock. She's retiring, and she retired. She started her career right in NWSL with a trophy in the first year. Now she's retiring with the trophy. So shout out to Erica for doing that. And Jade Moore, that was her last piece, was getting hardware, and she achieved it here. But I always thank those players for continuing to play when it was not the right thing to do, quote unquote, or the sexy thing to do, because they've created a platform that my new pro athletes coming out of college, they're not going to know anything different. And that's the beauty of it.
It is so special. A lot of it has to do with you as well, Christina, paving the way and creating an opportunity and a place for these players to go and win some hardware. Congrats to you. Congrats to the Tampa Bay Sun. Oh, that trophy is a beaut. Mwah.
Oh,
Go
We have to
Celebrate.
get down there and do the fan experience now. I want to get the Tampa Bay
Yeah,
Sun
let's do
vibes.
that.
Actually, that's my first lift.
A3 on
I
the
think we should
road.
just do this. Let's go. Oh, it's going on a
I
trophy.
see those arms flexing. I see those biceps, Uncle.
Trophy tour for sure. We got to name her. So feel free to, ask the fans what they want to name the USL Super League trophy.
Yes, you heard it here, guys. Drop some names for the USL Super League trophy, what they should call it. Put them in the chat, put them in our comments. We will get them all to Christina. Christina, thank you, my friend. Go celebrate, and we will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Cheers all. Thank you.
Thank
Guys,
you.
don't go anywhere. We've got more Attacking Third coming up next. We're headed across the pond to the WSL. We're talking about the news that's coming out of England. Stay with us. Hey everyone, welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. Some big news out of the Barclays Women's Super League, which is the top English flight. They announced that they are expanding from 12 teams to 14 teams for the start of the 26-27 season. So that is 2 years from now. They've agreed that the 3 teams will be promoted from the newly renamed WSL2, which was formerly the championship. And that'll happen at the end of next season. So the top 2 teams will be promoted automatically. And then there'll be a playoff between the 12th place WSL team and the 3rd place WSL2 team. So every season, there are going to be 2 teams promoted and 2 teams regulated. So it'll be the top team promoted, the bottom team relegated. And then the 13th team and the 2nd place team will compete in a relegation playoff every single year. So 14 teams now, Christine. Is this the right move for the WSL?
I don't think this is the right move right now. I understand the goals that they have and what they're trying to achieve, but there is great hazard in expanding the league too quickly, especially when you've already had recent conversations about potentially putting a freeze on promotion and relegation, which would change essentially the product that you put out as well for WSL. Right now, the league lacks significant parity. So I think that addressing those issues first and foremost probably would be more wise than shuttling in a potentially new crop of promoted teams that may not be ready to compete financially, venue wise, in terms of infrastructure that we see sometimes on the men's side of the game as well. I think that throwing into the mix this new round robin playoff scenario adds another catalyst to whether or not this could ultimately achieve or just go down really, really hard, very fastly. I think that the challenge is there. Yes, you're taking a very, very high risk potential reward approach to this that, I mean, could have some payoffs, but I think that ultimately I see more of a downside here.
I see this as an upside, guys, because yes, Christine, it has been constant rotation, not a lot of parity. The last 3 years, the team promoted from the championship into the WSL immediately got relegated again. But now the board is guaranteeing that 2 teams are going to be promoted. So you could stay up for an extra year because you're competing against another team that was also in the WSL2 the year prior. So I think this would force investment because as ownership and as a club, if you're one of the 2 teams promoted, you have a greater chance of staying up there because there's 2 of you that are coming from the WSL or the WSL2 at this point, right? I think this could force, which is the goal and the plan, more investment and support from the clubs and the owners.
I think the problem is they're not currently in the position of forcing that same investment from the presently and repeat the first league WSL teams. Right now, the big 4 in this league are responsible for 2/3 of the overall league revenue, whereas the disparities are so great. And when you want to look at systemic issues like the fact that these teams are linked with their men's first teams as well, and they also suffer as a result of how well they fare, you see that there are a lot of moving parts within the league presently that I think need to be addressed first and foremost. When you talk about the capacity to compete and you see a team like a Liverpool on the women's side who have made great strides more recently, but still have issues with housing and venue. Same thing goes for Spurs. Same thing goes even worse for teams like Reading, Wolverhampton, and things like that, that are just not really at the level to strive to a capacity of an Arsenal, who now are playing all their home games at the Emirates, or Chelsea, who have a $1 million player on their books. Like they just, I think that what happens is we're at the risk here at this impasse of thinning the talent pool further.
Christine, we are struggling to hear you, my friend. Okay, we dropped her. Jess, where do you stand on this side of it? I was like loving the
so was I. Yeah, I was all for it. I think that my biggest worry is the fact that there hasn't been enough investment in these lower tier teams. First of all, that playoff game makes 0 sense to me. First of all. Secondly, who's going to be investing in these teams, and what does that look like for them? I'm excited to a certain extent. I just don't want to see it I just don't want to witness it fail at the end of the day. And so when these teams move up into this league, I I hope that the competition is just going to be top tier, which is very difficult to do. I think NWSL is one of the best in the world, where top to bottom is, very high competitively, but whereas in Europe, the top teams are crushing these bottom tier teams. And so I'm I'm worried that there's not going to be enough investment, and I hope and pray someone steps up to the table like a Michele Kang just to invest into these teams. But then on the other side of things, I want to see the competition, be equal, and it's a tough road, and so we'll see how it goes.
So we will have a Michele Kang team in the WSL next year because the London City Lionesses, they have been promoted, so they will make it to this top flight. Jess, does that change? Because now she's going to be there. Like for the last 3 years, we've seen the same team promoted and relegated: Reading, Bristol City, and now Crystal Palace, just 1 year up. You mentioned someone like Michele Kang. She's now involved. Will that change this year with London City Lionesses in the top flight?
I really hope it does, because you see Michele Kang taking charge, and this is a successful team. She got the right players to be relegated, and now I want to see these other organizations follow suit. If you're going to join this league, oh, what did Michele Kang do? Because this is what worked, and so that's what I'm hoping for with these clubs who are bumping up with London City.
Hey, Christine.
Sorry guys. Yeah, I don't know why my mic decides to do that periodically. I suspect it's my laptop hardware. Apologies to the herd in the chat. I have important things to say here. I was really fired up and then I went
Yeah,
away.
you were on a roll, dude, and I was feeling it.
So I see the questions in the chat about the playoffs and the playoffs not making sense. I do want to address that. So, yes, this is foreign largely in Europe, outside of, say, things that are similar. If you're familiar with like the Belgian Pro League or like the Scottish Premiership, they have something similar. Also, Liga MX Femenil, with the Apertura and Clausura, which isn't the same as the round robin format that they're striving for. Ultimately, long story short, TLDR, what they're trying to do is get more eyeballs on the bigger teams in the latter tail of the season to bring broadcasting eyes back on and get that buy-in from fans, if that makes sense. That's ultimately what I see them doing there, because you're going to see more of the Chelsea Arsenal matchups, the Man City United matchups, and you don't typically get to see those in the tail end of the season because they've already ran their course, given how the chips fell based on the scheduling earlier on. That's a completely foreign concept if you're looking in England for a playoff. That's far more Americanized than what I would have anticipated ever seeing out of them. I understand the thought behind it. I don't know that it's going to generally help with um, advancing the competitiveness of the league wholly. I get that, like, okay, yeah, maybe you want to strive to be in the top 6 now, but if you're only going to get plundered and then add more fixtures to your schedule and more wear and tear on legs than there was previously. I think that there's also arguments that could go negatively as far as players go.
If I'm ownership and I have money to invest in a club, and I have the opportunity to potentially keep my team in the top flight for more than one season based on my investment and what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that. And I think that's ultimately the goal of the WSL. They did came out with a statement saying, quote, "Our priority is to find a route that would benefit the whole women's game pyramid." And they believe that this is the next evolution of women's professional football that is going to raise the minimum standards, create distinction, and incentivize investment across the board. And I see where they're coming from, because if you're the WSL2 team that finishes second, you're not guaranteed promotion. You have to go into this relegation playoff game, which is entirely different. But I think that gives you more hope, because you're now like, okay, I can prove that I can beat this team and then make it into the top flight. But the same goes on the other end of it. If you're second to last, as an owner, I would put more investment into my team in the top flight if they finish 13th out of 14th, knowing that they have to now go play a relegation playoff game with a team that's fighting for everything to get promoted. That's where I think we're going to see the investment. It's not going to happen.
You're talking sense, Lisa, but unfortunately, if, for example, Wolverhampton men are floundering, that money is not coming to the women's side. And that's what they need to fix first and foremost, in my opinion, if they want to move forward like this. I just don't think that they're in a good enough position with what they have, given this past season. We're talking about Man United women getting displaced because their first team, we're experiencing too many of those issues still to say, oh, this is for the growth of the women's game. Fix the underpinning issues that are at the foundation level, in my opinion, and then let them spread their wings.
But those,
give them
so many of
regular
those issues, Christine, are on. I'm not disagreeing. There's a lot of systemic issues there, but that's on the men's side of the clubs. A lot of these WSL teams don't have the power to change that right now.
Right. And what I'm saying is they have to, because they need to start looking at them as two separate entities, brick wall between them. Their revenues are their revenues. Their revenues are their revenues. Here's the percentage of money that we're giving to the women's side to help fund that as an investment going forward. And I think that that will rectify a lot of the problems that are happening. They need to stop being treated as an afterthought. And once we arrive at that impasse, then we can have a conversation about how you continue to maintain a competitive level in this league that already is floundering.
Potentially see it happening. So right now the clubs have all voted that the WSL will expand to 14 teams from 12 teams. It's just now waiting official approval from the FA board, and this won't happen again for 2 more seasons. It'll be the 26-27 season where we see this officially take place. This was fun, guys. This was a pretty good conversation. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We've got a mailbag. We're answering your questions, so stick with us. We'll be right back. Ding dong, mail's here. It's time for an A3 mailbag. It's presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. If you have questions for us, hit us up across socials. Leave us comments and reviews. You can email us, attackingthirder@gmail.com. Our producer, Mark, he compiles all these questions and throws them at us, and we love answering them. Let's dive right in. Question number 1 from @PieInTheChai-Sky 2020 asks, what are your thoughts on neutral site finals versus awarding it to a team with the best record in the final? Jess, we've seen it both ways. The NWSL started out going with the team that made it to the finals, and then they switched to a neutral site. What are your thoughts?
Man, I would love to have a home championship game. If we're winning the league, we deserve to have that. We deserve to play in front of our fans. Neutral site, I get it to a certain extent, but give it to us. If we're winning, if we win the regular season, and we make it to the championship. I'm expecting to stay home. I don't want to travel. That's more on my body to go somewhere else. Hello, we proved ourselves this season. Let us stay home. Let the other team come to us. You know what I'm saying? So I would love nothing more than for the top team to get that championship home game. And I know what it's like to win a championship at home, and it's a better feeling than winning anywhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Remind them, Jess. Remind them.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna drop the ball on this one and let y'all know. Give the teams their home game, please, in the championship. Come on, NWSL. You can do it again. It's fine. We've done it before. You can do it again.
I don't know. I kind of like the neutrality, although I am totally in favor of moving to I don't know, like an NFL Super Bowl format where we only put it in warm places where I could wear sunglasses and a tank top in the stands and just wave.
Arthritis feels good in those places too. So,
right. I'm like,
yeah.
my knees are great right now. I feel like Wonder Woman. I think that no, I like the concept of neutrality. I do. I think that it kind of depending, I mean, even looking back to the more recent final, when you look at how Washington Spirit heavy it was, it almost, you kind of wonder, with fans, how prohibitive is it cost wise and geographically from where they're coming from, how easy is it for them to get to the sites that they're choosing in terms of neutrality. So in that respect, I kind of like, well, that didn't feel very neutral, right? I mean, the Orlando Pride fans I got to celebrate, I was absolutely howling with them, but definitely far fewer that got to rep just because it's not always easy to fly into KC. So I don't know, I'd say neutrality, if you can manage it more equitably, like, I'm in favor
So
of
the
it,
thing
otherwise
with neutrality and announcing a championship location means that people can plan, right? The city can
of
plan,
course.
the stadium can plan. You can have championship week activities that lead up to the championship, which the NWSL is getting there. I think last year more than ever, we saw events happening on the Friday, the Thursday before the championship. If that can be built out and it's a whole event around the final, I'm all for it. But Jess, there's something about a sold out crowd for a home team that gives them an advantage. And frankly, there's enough parity in this league that we would see it go to multiple places and multiple locations and see it. I think we're going to stick with the neutral site though for a while because of these activation weeks and things that are happening. I know, Jess. I know she's giving me the thumbs down, guys. All right, let's talk question number 2. This one comes from @Maddie in the Mixer 10. Are Alyssa and Gisele the best pair of sisters to have played in the NWSL? Ooh, what a question. Now, Alyssa and Gisele, both at Angel City, they're playing on the same team together, which is incredibly special. But there is nothing like Christy Mewis and Sam Mewis playing in the NWSL together. They were so good at the top of their league, at the top of their team. They never played together, but every team they were on, they made those teams better. Jess, what are your thoughts?
100% agree. Thank you very much. I got to play with Sam for about 7-8 years consecutively for club and country. No one beat Sam Mewis when she was in her prime. I'm sorry. Gisele and Alyssa are not touching Sam Mewis. And then playing against Christy Mewis my entire career, boy, that woman was a pain in the tail to deal with. And that's a compliment to her. But they're the best in the history of the NWSL and U.S. Women's National Team. I'm sorry, Alyssa and Gisele. Y'all are good, but the Mewis sisters are great.
So could we see Alyssa and Gisele have not reached their prime yet?
No, they haven't.
They're 20 and 19 years old. Of course they haven't. Yeah. Could we see them, Jess, surpass the Mewis sisters?
If they stay healthy. Can we see healthy Thompson sisters? Because they both have dealt with, some injuries already early on in their careers. If they stay healthy, because Alyssa's at the top of her game right now. I'm a big fan of Alyssa Thompson. So, yes, potential's there. I'll give it to them. Yeah. If healthy.
Right, oh, I like that one. All right, guys, question number 3. This one is for Jess. It comes from Girl World 2000. Jess, what is your favorite goal you've ever scored and why?
I was so happy about this question, actually. So my favorite goal, I was playing for Portland Thorns in 2014. jersey number 14, my 14th goal of my entire career. We were playing against Boston Breakers at Portland. And the reason why this is my favorite goal is because I came in off the bench and it was like a tough time for me. Alex Morgan had just come back from injury and took my starting spot. And I was in the Golden Boot race this season, you guys. So like I'm on fire this season, not to toot my own horn, but I'm tooting my own horn.
Let's go.
Came in off the bench. We're playing against Boston Breakers. They have Alyssa Nair in goal, and then they have a 3-back. Angie Kerr, my teammate, played me a long ball, and I ended up cutting this ball back. The defender slides, but she gets back up quick. I know this defender very well. She was a Mexican international. I'm drawing a blank on her name, but that's okay. She goes down, slides, so I cut back onto my left foot. It was on my right side. Cut back to my left foot. She gets up quickly. I nutmeg her, so I beat her. So now I'm going to goal. I cut inside, so now the second center back's coming in. And I ended up beating her. And then the third center back comes in and I shoot it, nutmeg her, and it goes right past into the far post against Alyssa Nair. So 14th goal, jersey number 14 in 2014 for Portland Thorns. Yep. You can look it up. It's on YouTube. So check the highlights and let me know what you think.
The box score for you right now, Jess. Portland ends up winning that game 6-3.
Yeah.
This was at the end of the 88th minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because Christine Sinclair had a hat trick in that game. Alex Morgan scored. That's freaking amazing. Congratulations.
That was just cherry on top. Yeah. Always my favorite forever. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. We'll have to get your assist story sometimes because legendary assister in the NWSL. All right, we're going to move on. We are going to take a quick break, and then we've got a special interview coming up next for you guys with Houston midfielder Danielle Colaprico. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. This is the interview episode, so if you've made it this far, guys, the best is yet to come because we are pleased to welcome in Houston midfielder coming off of her 200th regular season appearance in the NWSL, Danielle Colaprico. Danny, welcome to A3.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
It is so great to chat with you. Congratulations on such an impressive milestone. Think back to appearance number 1 in the NWSL, all the way to appearance number 200 for you. What has been the most rewarding moment?
Oh, I feel like there's been a lot of rewarding moments throughout my career. I feel like my favorite part about this job is that I've created so many relationships along the way and have so many great friends from it. And it's really cool to have my family to come out to all the games and stuff and be so supportive. But I just remember my first cap, I was so nervous. And honestly, when I got to Chicago, I was like, am I even going to make this team? And here we are, still going. So just really grateful for all the experiences I had along the way. And yeah.
Christine, Jess, you guys have a question for her?
Go ahead, Christine.
I was waiting for Jess to go. I mean, obviously you've achieved a lot. What has been, I know, pick your favorite child, but what has been your favorite trophy you've won and why?
Oh, that's a good one. I have got to say the Shield when we were in San Diego. I feel like just being in the league so long, I feel like all I wanted to do was just win the Shield. I feel like that's so hard to do. It just shows how well your team does across the whole season, not just in playoffs. So it was really cool to, lift that trophy in San Diego and do that with my teammates.
Amazing. 200 appearances. That's a huge, huge milestone. You're one of the very few to do it. how's your body feeling? How are you? I'm like 200, boy. I couldn't even quite get there myself. And I'm like, ooh, arthritis in this knee. I don't know, but how's your body? How are you feeling?
Girl,
Oh,
I was
boy.
waiting for you to ask this. Yeah, I mean, definitely feeling it, but I mean, I love this sport so much. I would do anything. I would throw my body in front of anything for any one of my teammates. And, I definitely have to spend a lot of time in the treatment room and come in extra hour early than everyone else and, prep the body. But I'm no longer a rookie where I could just show up 10 minutes before training. So that's not ideal, but I make it work, and we're still thriving and we're enjoying it. So.
All right, for those of you who haven't been pro athletes, let me tell y'all, when you get to the tail end of your career, once you become an experienced player, you have to warm up for your warm up before the pregame warm up. So that's what Danny's saying here. So yeah, you got to triple warm up before all these youngsters come in, and they don't really know what activation is yet, but you got to activate head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You learned that the hard way.
No, the other day I was like, my back now. I'm like, my back.
Danny, you've played on a number of different teams, especially over the last couple of years, and with some other veterans and players that have been around for a while, not quite that have hit 200 appearances, but have you learned recovery tricks or tips or from other of your teammates or retired players like Jess? Like, what have you picked up from other players around you to preserve your body?
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like when I first got in the league, and even the first few years in the league, I kind of would just stroll up to training, start warming up, get out there. And not until I just, started picking up little nicks here and there. I feel like I just saw some of the older girls just, they would be in training like an hour early, rolling out, doing their exercises, had a whole exercise plan written out for them. I'm like, I think I need that. Yeah, so I feel like just learning from the older girls has been really helpful, and just seeing what it really takes to have your career go on for a long time. Yeah, I feel like that's been helpful.
Do you have any other, outside of the physical demands, Danny, do you have any like game day rituals that you still do that you've kind of kept through your like UVA career forward?
No, but I will say I'm like big on, and this is probably questionable, but I'm big on not thinking about the game until I walk in the locker room. So
How do you meditate?
What'd you say?
So do you meditate then? Like, how do you clear your head?
I don't meditate, but I just try to stay busy. I'll be at a coffee shop, reading, watching my shows, walking my dog, whatever it takes. Just like kind of getting my mind away from the game a bit, just so I can, save all that energy for when I walk into the locker room and can lock in.
Absolutely amazing. That is so great.
I'm gonna be thinking about this for days now. I'm like, how does she do that? I think about things for weeks at a time. I'm like constantly worrying, preparing, turning the wheels in my head. That's a gift.
Who's had an impact on your career? Who's been your idol, and who's had an impact on your playing career?
Oh, good question. I feel like I've been actually very blessed to have played with so many great players throughout my career, especially in Chicago. I feel like every team I was on there had various players that were at World Cups, won World Cups, and did the whole thing. So I feel like I'm very grateful for those experiences, but I feel like I feel like it's just changed. I feel like when I was very young first in the league, I absolutely love watching Lauren Holiday play. She was just someone I wanted to be. I would never be, but I wanted to be. So I think she's great. And then also playing with Julie Ertz was just honestly amazing. I feel like she's just such a good leader on the field, and she just knows how to get it done every game. So I feel like those two stand out to me.
Okay, Danny, I'll maybe make this a little easier for you. So you've played and continue to play such an outstanding career, but let's build a five-a-side team of all of your NWSL teammates that you've played with. So 5 players, you can include yourself. Who's your NWSL five-a-side team?
Just 5.
You can take yourself
Can I have
out if
subs?
you want and do a sub. You could have a
I'll
sub.
be a sub.
Okay, go.
No, I'm kidding. I'll give you 5. Okay. Ooh, this is a good question. Okay. I don't, this sounds weird, but me, I want to be on the team. Me, I'd say Sam Kerr, Naomi Girma, Alyssa Nair, and Morgan Gautrat.
Ooh, this is a good one.
That's a squad.
So you'll have Sam Kerr scoring all your goals, doing the backflips, Girma and Nair holding it down, and you and Gautrat in the midfield.
Just, vibing in the midfield.
Wow, that's a good one. I also like that you throw a goalie in there. Usually 5-a-sides don't have goalies.
Oh, really?
It depends. Depends on your 5-a-side.
We're supposed to rotate. No, I like that you threw the keeper in there.
I do too. That's what I'm saying. I like it.
Hey, she's good with the ball at her feet.
What'd you say?
No, she's good with the ball at her feet. I trust her back there. So whether it's big goals or small ones.
Mini goals or big goals?
Whatever you want, Danielle.
I did it wrong.
You did it. There are no rules here at A3. Never any rules. We do what we want.
Okay, I like that.
She's like, I've decided then by decree. We have like one last small bit of business. At least I do. We got to talk Jersey, okay? Because I'm pretty sure you RBC kid.
Oh, sure am.
Yeah, I hated playing y'all. You always shellacked us. I went to Southern Regional, so South Jersey, stand up.
Oh, no way.
And I have to ask you, now this will be the real deciding factor, because quite frankly, I love you, Danny, but like this might change things in this moment. Are you pork roll or are you Taylor ham?
I knew you were going to ask this.
Keep it a buck.
Okay.
You're Monmouth County girl. Remember where you're from.
Pork roll.
Thank you. Okay, I do love you. You deserve more trophies, at least 7 in your career. You should be so proud of all the work that you've done. 200 and what? We're gonna get like 600 more? Never retire, just stick
Give or
around?
take.
No, someone was like, oh, just like another 200. And I was like, you guys, I got plans. I don't actually, but we can tell my mom that.
Another 200. That's where I am for you, Danny. Like another 200.
All right.
You make it look easy. Look easy.
Thank you.
Just one of 6 players to earn that recognition of 200 caps with the NWSL across the league. Congratulations, guys. You can watch Danielle Colaprico, the Houston Dash, this Saturday. You're on the road to take on North Carolina Courage, 7:30 on Saturday. Good luck. Guys, go watch her, cheer her on, and good luck the rest of the way, Danny.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for hanging with us. Guys, this was a banging episode. Jess, how'd it feel to be back, your first show after maternity leave?
This was awesome. I missed it. I miss talking football. I've got my partner here, but he doesn't know the nitty-gritty of the NWSL the way we do, so I can't have these conversations with him. So it's just a joy and a blessing to be here with you guys again, just, yapping away about the game that we love. So yeah, it's a thrill. So yeah, I missed you guys. I really did. You have no idea. Like, even adults conversations, that's just a highlight of my day.
We missed you too, but go snuggle that little baby girl. We are so happy for you. Congratulations. Guys, thanks for hanging with us. If you listened today to the show on YouTube, on Galazzo Network, if you listened as a podcast, thank you so much. We can't do this show without you. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Give us some love across YouTube or podcast platforms. And we've got more shows coming up. Thursday, June 19th. It is Juneteenth. We are celebrating. We've got a Black Women's Players Collective interview with Gabby Vinson coming up. And we're going to have NWSL Week 13 look ahead as we preview the final weekend of matches in the NWSL before the summer break. So we'll see you Thursday at 11 a.m. Be kind to everyone and have a great day. For Jess, Christine, and Mark, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.
Woo-hoo!